Welcome to another edition of Akau TV. I'm joined this afternoon by Jamie Richards. How are you today, Jamie?
Yep, good, Hazy. Been out on the road today, looking at a few yearlings, and looking forward to the upcoming sale.
Awesome, and a big week of racing ahead of us with Legends Day at Te Rapa. You'll obviously be there on course tomorrow.
Yep, we will. Looking forward to that. So always a great day's racing. I think as of about 10 to 20 minutes ago, around 4 o'clock when we're doing this, they'd had about 8.5 mils of rain, dead 5. They might, pretty strong possibility that they're going to get some more tonight, but hopefully they don't get too much.
And a bit of history out there for the viewers. 2016, you'll remember Extravagant hugging the rail and winning the NRM Sprint. 2019, we had Melody Bell. In 2020, Te Akau Shark got his first Group 1 win on New Zealand shores before he obviously went over and took a Group 1 over there as well. And then last year we had Avantage win well. I think Levante missed the kick that day, and she booted home and won that race convincingly. And Emma Arena won the David and Karen Fenton Ellis Classic as well. So some pretty nice horses, and I guess the word legends are synonymous with a number of those horses that have performed well for you over the last few years, Jamie.
Yeah, for sure. Great memories from those horses that you mentioned. And yeah, it's been a day that's always been good to us. So hopefully that can carry on tomorrow.
Absolutely. And just touching on the week that's been, obviously a bit disappointing with a few abandonments. We had one race at New Plymouth on Saturday before the races were called off. And then, of course, the rain struck overnight and Tauranga was abandoned the following day on Sunday. But you made up for it, I guess, on Wednesday, where a number of those horses were lining up over the weekend race at Ruakaka with Dan Serena and Savasilk getting the chocolates there.
Yeah, we took a big team to Ruakaka, which wasn't sort of initially the plan, but just the way that it worked out. Dan Serena is a really nice filly, progressive, and Savasilk's a filly that's been knocking on the door for a little while, and Julie got the chocolates there and the Pill Series bonus for Brennan and Joe and Cambridge Stud, which is great. So hopefully we can carry on the form into the weekend.
Absolutely. And then the Albatross, mightily impressive at Hastings on Thursday.
Yep, big scopy filly that's needed a bit of time to mature, but it's all in front of her. Her trials have been great, work's been solid, and she, duly saluted as a very short price favourite down there yesterday after being given a lovely ride by our apprentice Joe Cameroon, and great to have a winner for Jeff Rowan and a few of the guys that have supported us with horses, which is great.
Absolutely, and we're kind of halfway through the card at our opinion today, so we won't touch on that, but we'll pick that up next week. But this week, as we've mentioned, obviously we've got Legends Day at Te Rapa. I think we've got one runner lining up at Ricketton, which we'll cover off first, and then we'll cross the Tasman to Caulfield to the last race. We've got two runners for Cambridge Stud in the last there. So starting down at Ricketton Park, we start in race 8, the C.S. Stevens Memorial Banks Peninsula Cup. It's an open handicap over 1,800. We've got Zol Luminous, drawn barrier 7 with Rohan Madhu on board.
Yep, she's in great form. She was a bit of a surprise winner at Wangatui last time, but won really well there. She had a little trial probably 10 days ago, which she was pretty impressive in winning. I'm not sure what she beat that day, but she looked to cruise to the line well, and we've been happy with her work since then. So this is her first time up an open handicap, which is never easy. A little bit of an awkward draw there in 7. They've had a bit of rain down there. I see the track's back to an 8 this afternoon. Hopefully it might even get back a little further. But yeah, she's in good shape. She's down there with Richard Denham, who's been doing a great job of looking after her, and all the reports have been really encouraging. So if she can handle the step up into that open grade against you, your top, like a horse like Camino Acosta is a very good horse. She won the Kamara Nuggets 2 starts back. So she's never raced against that sort of opposition before, but it'll be interesting to see where she fits in.
Absolutely. And is she the last of the contingent left down there at this stage?
Irish Reader's down at Terry Kennedy's, and she'll run at Wangatui there on the 5th of March in the 3-year-old fillies 1400 metre race. She didn't have the rub of the green there the other day, and the Dunedin Guineas sort of got a long way back and on a track that was probably beyond her. So we'll get her ready for that 1400 metre race and hopefully get a bit more black type for her.
Great. And across to Legends Day at Te Rapa, we kick off in race 3, the Legacy Lodge 1200. It's a rating 74 benchmark. 2 runners, the first of which is Burgundy Rose, drawn Barrier 7, in what shapes to be the battle of your 2 apprentices with Nir and Jan Palmer on board.
Yep, Burgundy Rose is going well. She was down to head towards Tauranga last Sunday, which obviously wouldn't have happened anyway, but the race there was called off through a lack of entry. So we've ended up here in a rating 74 1200 with a big weight. She's obviously pretty highly rated, but with her mare's allowance and Palmer's allowance, she doesn't get in too bad, carrying 59 kilos. So she's a go forward, push button sort of horse. She'll be up on the speed and take a bit of catching.
Great. And Lightning Field, drawn Barrier 9 with Joe Cameron on board.
Yeah, just got it all wrong at the start last time. So the full cut blinkers go back on and the blindfold goes back on as well. He's a really can be a difficult horse at times, but on his day he's quite a good galloper. So his work's been spot on. I know he's sort of be long in the odds, but I think he can give a little bit of cheek there with luck in the running. He's probably going to be back and coming to the outside, but any range shouldn't worry him.
Great. And race 3, the Group 3 Platinum Homes 2-year-old classic. It's set weights for the 2-year-olds. We spoke about this horse last week who beat home Hanalei on debut. Marvin Bell, drawn Barrier 1 with Opie Boston on board.
Yep, happy with her. Everything's gone according to plan. Obviously, this race was rescheduled from the Taranaki meeting last week. But she's worked up nicely. She's got the good draw. She's got Opie on her, committed to riding at 54.5, and she'll be right up and behind the speed from that good gate. So shaped as one of our better ones for the day, I think.
Great. And race 4, the Norris Ward McKinnon, Your Lawyers 1200. What is it? A MAAT? What does that stand for? 1200.
Sort of maidens at a specific time. So it's a special conditions maiden for horses that won after the 30th of November or something like that.
There you go. You learn something new every day. And of course, we've got impressive debut winner Angela Reeve, drawn wide in Barrier 14 with Nir and Jan Palmer on board, claiming 3.
Yeah, so she's going well. Happy with her. She won well at Te Rapa at her only start. Would have loved to have seen her draw a bit of a better barrier, but we'll go forward from out there. She's got good natural speed, so we'll put her up in the race and sort of see how we end up. I thought there might have been a few more winners in this field. Like there's a couple of maidens in there. You know, usually you sort of get the odd 2-win horse, but look, competitive race, but can see her being a nice each way chance if she can get up and across.
Great. And race 5, the Peter Kelly Bailey's Real Estate 1300, rating 65 benchmark. And I understand you've got some pretty outstanding plans for this horse through some potential listed and group races. Zaitaku, drawn very wide in Barrier 15. But if he's going to be winning this to be going to some better targets later on, I assume.
Yeah, he'll run well. He's probably a touch on the fat side. Good doing colt that will improve with the run. He'll get back off his awkward gait and find the line. As long as he's running on and running in the top 3 or 4, would be very happy. But he trialled up well the other day. Him and Doubtful Sound were in the same trial at Ellerslie. They're both progressive 3-year-olds. And if he does run up to expectations, he's probably going to run in the Mufasa and then hopefully live in Classic. But obviously he's going to have to be right at the top of his game to be doing that. So, he's going to need a little bit of luck on running from the barrier, but he's going to be back, find the line. Should be a nice each-way chance.
Fantastic. And race 6, the race named after the Te Akau contingent and David and Karen Fentonelli's Fillies Classic. What a mouthful there. 3-year-old fillies set weights over 2,000 metres. We've got 2 runners lining up, the first of which is Ballon Rouge, drawn Barrier 4 with Opie Boston on board.
Yep, she's going well. Obviously, won well there at Boxing Day after winning the Eulogy as well. She's got super form, been consistent all season. We gave her a little bit of a freshen up after Boxing Day, and she's going into this race off a bit of a break and up to 2,000 metres at a first time out at that trip. So it's not going to be easy for her, but she worked well in an exhibition gallop there about 10 days ago. She doesn't seem to mind a bit of soft ground. but she's sort of there to be running well. This will tune up her fitness nicely for either the Lowland or the Sunline Vase, and then into the Oaks, all going well. But class will take her a long way. She's a classy filly, but just a little word of warning there. Our two could just be a little bit vulnerable on their fitness.
Yeah. And of course, she'll have to contend with Self Obsession, who will be rolling along somewhere near the pace, I imagine. The impressive last start winner of the Royal Stakes on New Year's Day, drawn barrier 10 with Michael McNabb on board.
Yep, that's exactly right. Self Obsession goes forward, rolls along, and as the last start winner at 2,000 at the distance. So she's enjoyed a bit of a freshen up as well. We just didn't want to have them sort of bottomed out by the time they got to the Oaks. We thought we'd give them a little freshen up now, and then make sure that they've got a bit of life in their legs, and hopefully ready to peak down there at Trentham. So expecting them both to run well. Self Obsession's a genuine staying sort of filly, rolled along at her own speed, whereas Ballon Rouge has probably got a better turn of foot. So it's going to be an interesting race. Wouldn't it be a huge thrill to be able to win it with a homebred filly? So that's certainly anyone's great, but I think they would get a bit of special satisfaction out of that.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're big supporters of obviously the Te Rapa Racing Club, of having both held chairman positions there in the past, and I think that's a big part of that sponsorship of that race. So fingers crossed there, Jamie. Moving down to race 8, the Waikato Stud 1400, rating 74 benchmark over 2,000 metres. We've got Image of You, drawn barrier 4 with OP Boston on board. Yep,
really happy with her. A nice trial the other day. She just should have never really got in the race on in that Stella Artois final, I think, on Boxing Day. So she had a bit of a freshen up since then. Trial was good. Work's been solid. Good gait. Fresh at 14, I think, suits her. So she's ready to run a nice race, and I think that she's got to be a really good first 3 chance.
Great. And down to the big race of the day, which is touted as a bit of a match race between Entrevier and, of course, Levante, which is race 9, the Group 1 BCD Group Sprint. It's a weight for age over 1,400. I think, would you say Mascarpone's going to tear along in front there, Jamie?
Yeah, he'll be forward anyway. Packing Rockstar goes forward. Gia Severini can get up on the speed. We should just get a nice smother there and behind the speed from a good gate. Shara Roses likes to go forward, so hopefully there's a bit of genuine tempo in this, and the best horse wins the race.
Absolutely. So obviously 2 of your chances, they'll both get probably settled back or midfield. The first of which is Marcus Aurelius, drawn barrier 7 with Sam Weatherly on board.
Yeah, happy with him. He's just probably got outpaced a little bit in the Concord last time, and probably didn't corner as well as what we would have liked right-handed either. So out to 1,400, back left-handed. He's got a bit of a sticky gait in a small field, so he's going to be back behind midfield. I just can't see any way around that for him, unfortunately. But he's going to be attacking the line well, and it's going to set him up nicely for the weight for age mile a day, tacking on the 26th.
Great. And of course, Entrevier, drawn barrier 3 with OP Boston back on board after a suspension in its last run.
Yep, happy with her. Obviously, things didn't go away in the Telegraph. Just got far too far back, and it was impossible to run the sectionals that she needed to win from where she was. So her sectionals were still great. I've got no problems with her. She's had a nice little quiet trial since then. Just wanted to get her out of the barrier and get her up in the trial and just let her cruise. And really happy with where she's at. She's done some nice work. Don't think we could have her any better. And it's going to be a great race with Levante again. There are a couple of really good mares. Hopefully we can get 2-1 up on them.
Fantastic. Well, here's hoping. And down to race 10, the Pack and Save Clarence Street Mile. Similar conditions to the previous race with MAAT 1600. We've got Felicity, and you can't buy a draw today, Jamie. Drawn barrier 14 with OP Boston on board.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the way it goes. If they get the rain, it might not be the worst place to be. And a nice run down the back straight there from the mile shoot as well. So she had a nice quiet trial the other day. She's got really good consistent form. And out to the mile should suit her. Back left-handed. She just got a little bit lost at Taronga, but was really good late in the piece. So back left-handed and up to a mile, I think is going to be a big help for her. Good. I expect with luck and running, and if they're sort of coming from behind midfield, which they should be from the later stage of the day down centre track, got to be a really good chance.
Great. And then across the ditch, so back in Australia over at Caulfield, We've got race 3, the Group 3 Lamaros Hotel Jeffrey Balmain Stakes, set weight and penalties for the mares over 1,200 metres. We've got the star Kiwi mare Probabile drawn barrier 3 with Brett Preble on board.
Yep, so great to have both Probabile and Carmelos back in Australia, with Hunter Durant looking after them in Melbourne, stabled at the Freedmans. They've both sort of had an identical preparation. They've trialled together, jumped out the same day, done all their work together, and are both going great. Henry was at the stable this morning and was really happy with how they looked. Henry Plumtree, the CEO of Cambridge Studs. So we're looking forward to tomorrow. Probabile got the good gait, got to carry a little bit of weight, but I don't think that's a problem. She's going really well, and hopefully she's a really good winning chance.
And of course, Carmelas won fresh up at Caulfield in the Weekend Hustler Stakes in the spring as well. So she has got Mick D on board, drawn barrier 9 with 57 kilos.
Yeah, so she's going well too. I think the $14 on offer on the TAB there is overs. She's going to be back behind midfield, probably from a bit of a sticky gate, but don't think it matters too much if you're a little bit deep there at Caulfield from the 1,200 metre shoot with only one corner. She showed that she handled the track really well on the spring. So, I think she's a really cheeky chance. She's going well, and looking forward to seeing how she fronts up tomorrow.
Fantastic. So that wraps up the runners for the weekend. Who have we got as the best bet?
We'll stick with Maven Ballet. It was our best last weekend, and hopefully she can carry that form into tomorrow.
Fantastic. And a quick look ahead to the races next week. I guess the big one is Avondale Guineas Day at Ellerslie. Who can we expect to see line up there?
We'll have the Perfect Pink in the Avondale Guineas, and we'll have Amalfi Prince, who we like either in the Avondale Guineas or on the 65 undercard over ground. You'll see Quattro Quinta back at the races. First time as a 3-year-old, and 3-year-old set weights and penalties 1,200. Expect him to run really well. And we might have a 2-year-old for the 2-year-old race there as well. So, the show rolls on. There's plenty happening in the next 3 or 4 weeks here in New Zealand.
Absolutely, and there goes the alarm. So it must be time to wrap this up. So thanks for today, Jamie. We'll leave you to it, and we'll catch you again next week, mate.